Oh, hello there! Welcome back to Shovel Knight. I am Nordigraph. When last left off, we went through the village, we got a bunch of relics, which are basically items that use magic, and we met the Triple King. On this episode, I'm going to the Lake Yard, because I'm being bold and brave. So let's go! Sharpen thy shovel! I will. Now, a lot of people go to the King Knight, me included, when I first played this game, when I second played this game, and I quit because I was getting angry at the game. So, here we get introduced to a new mechanic, which is this. We can hit this and bounce off of it to get more air. We can also hit it twice. It will come into play later. And this is my least favorite enemies in the whole game, these guys. These goddamn frogs. Because their patterns are so hard to predict. And it drives me insane. And if we hit that, and if we hit... No, not that one. Not that one. I guess I got confused again. Anyway, a lot of people go to the King Knight first, and it's arguably the easier level. So it's probably smart that they go there first. If we break some of those gravestones like I did there, ghosts will come out. And they are invincible for the most part. And these are showing that we will find bombs in some of these places. So we're gonna just explode that. And if I'm careful here, I don't have to use the skeleton. We lost some treasure there. Don't give a shit about small sapphires. Normally, if you fall down, you have to use the skeleton because, as you can see, you can't quite reach it. You can't quite reach the treasure, but if you're careful, you can pretty easily just break the thing and get on top. Now these we can break, and it basically gives us money, and they'll be worth more as the levels get harder and harder. Now these are the ghosts I mentioned. They can be quite a pain in the ass. There's a lot of them on screen. So you gotta be careful with them. I think this one will spawn a ghost. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being lucky here. And this is probably my favorite music my favorite music in this game, like level music. I mean, it's just so good, and I always find myself constantly humming this while I'm playing other stuff. So we gotta continue forth. This is our second mini-boss, our first official mini-boss, and he's pretty easy. I jumped the gun there. All I have to do is jump on top of him and stay there. And he dies. It's probably the easiest mini-boss. Aside from the dragon, I guess. We're gonna hit these goddamn frogs and kill them before they cause any trouble. This is a pretty easy thing that we can buzz off. Goddamn people horning up in the streets. This is probably the first part where we actually have to use these things to get anywhere. They are teaching us that we can hit it. And now we get my least favorite mechanic. Like level mechanic. Well, my second least favorite. By my number of deaths in the Propel Knight level, you can probably guess which one of my least favorite mechanics is. But this mechanic of darkening can catch you off guard. I mean, there are levels I think in Mega Man, which this game takes heavily inspiration from, that have, I think, mechanics similar to this. I think... What's that boss? I don't remember. The guy with the light bulb on his head. I forgot his name. Brightman, maybe? I think he has a part he has a mechanic in his level that's similar to this one, where the level darkens and you can only see so much of it. But I'm not sure. I know his level in Mega Man X. I think when they invade the school, I don't remember which X is. I think it's the third one or the second one, don't remember. But basically, they invade the school, and and you have to turn on the lights again, and you have to free everyone. And there's a mechanic where the level is dark and you can't really see anything and have to turn the lights on again. Here we see a bit where we have to... This is the only time where you have to hit 2 times these bushes. And here we get the very first precarious. This probably is... If anyone comes here first, their first death will probably be in this area. If I'm being entirely honest with you. Because of this ghost and the precarious situation you find yourself in with the darkness. But you know, it's just as you're careful. It shouldn't be too bad, I guess. This is another mechanic that we find ourselves with. If there are 2 things in the... Oh, that sapphire. If there are 2 of these 2 enemies or 1 enemy and including you, these platforms will start to sink. You can get the... Right here, if you take out the enemy from under it, it won't sink. But that brings us problems right here, where there's that frog there, and this guy here. So I'm just gonna get rid of him there. I'm not gonna say anything. That was stupid of me. That was noobish. See you guys back there. Now I guess I can show that, allow me at least to show you this. You can fish your treasure, and I probably missed some treasures, like when there's sparkly ground, like a sparkly pit. Probably missed some now that I think about it, but whatever. I'll live. I won't, but still, can really... I'm not going back for it, that's what I mean. And that was a really bad death, and I am ashamed, if you're wondering. I am ashamed of it. We just gotta be quick. There's a weapon we get later which makes that a little less nerve-wracking. You feel less afraid of falling into the freaking spikes there. Now we just gotta get this thing here. And we just gotta kill the frog. And there's a treasure that's really hard to see on the wall. And there's a sapphire right there, and I missed them, which admittedly makes me a little sad, but oh god, but we can't do anything about it. Right here is our first in-game level relic that we find. When you find these blue chests, Chester is inside them. In the village or out in the field, I have all of the deals. You're not gonna believe what I just found in this chest, and that's not a pun. He just put emphasis in that just to get us interested. What is it? The face locket. The face locket will let us escape from all harm briefly, which I think it's 2 seconds. Ow! Maybe. Of invincibility. 2, at tops 5 seconds of invincibility you get from the face locket. Which is, admittedly, it's really useful. It's probably one of the most useful items in the entire game. There's another item which is really useful, but you get it way too late in the game for it to have any use past its where the level you find it in. So really, we just gotta... This is probably, admittedly, the most useful item we'll find in the game. We gotta get that on top of it and be really careful not to let it sink in the water, because it will sink past the water and we will die. Shovel Knight can swim, as you probably saw when I had probably the worst death ever made by anyone who has ever played this game before. Especially since I've played the game before. I finished it. And here we have a little secret, a little Super Mario secret sort. When you go to the next screen, you see this, oh, how do I get there? And as you can see, the ghost came out of the thing. We're gonna grab this treasure and we're gonna say fuck it and go away! However, don't drop on the middle one yet. I know you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna grab all the treasure before I do anything. But do not step on the middle one first. Because you can grab the other treasures, you know. And it's important. I know if you hit that. I know there's a boss fight there, but I really don't care. If the boss can get here where I am, apparently he won't. Oh god, you suck. You suck, boss. Well, we kill him faster if we're standing under here because the ceiling is lower. Anyway, there's no other secrets in this part, at least I don't think so. So we can continue forward. Actionate the checkpoint. As you can see, the color defines like the type of gem we get too, so. You frog, die. I don't care that your treasure fell down there because you suck. We're gonna get this haunted treasure. I just say it's haunted because it has kind of an aura to it. And we gotta be really careful here. This is a level. This is the part where this mechanic can really fuck you up. As long as you're careful and you take your time with it, you won't die. You won't eat shit and die. Eat shit, don't die. If you eat shit, you won't die. And that's the end of the level, to be entirely honest with you. That's a pretty easy level, things considered. I died once because I was stupid. This is no place for living mortal. You shall be summoned when it is your time. And everyone has a time, as we saw with your beloved Shield Knight. Lies! I won't believe such talk from Fentons. Your very existence is a vile deception. The Enchantress is just full of surprises. She granted me a new life, so that I may take yours. And this is our first official boss. We had boss before. The Black Knight was a boss. We have to be really careful here with this guy. It's pretty easy to dodge him. I'm being entirely honest with you. We can be more aggressive, and if we had the item from Pridemore Keep, we could probably beat him pretty easily because it completely wrecks his stuff. But I like to play it safe with him. Mostly because I have very little health. But also, this is my favorite boss music. Ah, got hit. This is my favorite boss music. Of every boss, this is my favorite boss music. This is the music that I find myself humming the most. It might be my favorite music in the entirety of the game. If I'm being entirely honest with you. And you missed! Suck! Dick! You suck. And eventually, this fight will change a bit, and I got them damage there. But this guy is really, really easy if you take your time. If you try to rush him, and then hit him when he throws his scythe. You're gonna have a harder time because you're trying to rush and you might get hit a lot by his scythe. But really, if you're patient, I know this probably you might be, if you watch like people way more skilled than I am, you're probably thinking, oh, just kill him already. But that's not the I should have been paying attention there. But that's not the kind of player I am. I am a very cautious player. I know it may not look like it a lot of times, but also even though it's pretty easy to dodge his scythe, if you have problems dodging his scythe, you can just use the face locket to dodge it. Every item in every boss's level is pretty useful against that boss. So we ended with 8,000 treasure, which is great. And we go to sleep. Even though there's a sleep sequence after every boss, you don't always get a dream. You don't get a dream all the time. You only get a dream when you finish a location. Like, there are 3 zones in the game, like map zones in the game, and every time you sleep, make sure that you prevent forest fires. There are 3 zones in the game, and like when the cloud goes by, you know, you get a sequence. Basically, when you finish every level in a zone, that's what I'm saying. This is a feature that we get. As you can see, sometimes enemies will appear, oh god, on the map, and we have to defeat them, which basically takes us to a special level. They don't appear all the time. There are specific points, like if you beat specific areas, they'll appear. So it's not all the time, but these enemy levels are... I love doing that. These enemy levels are pretty easy, as you can see. We're gonna end off by going here. We're gonna give him his music. Now that I have a music sheet. Yeah, and as you can see, we're loaded. And we're going to get a couple more meal tickets. Maybe 2 if I can get them. I think I can't. I think the next one is 6,000. Which makes me kind of pissed that I have what I have now. But I'll live, I guess. It's 6,000. Mother, I'll kill you! I'll kill you, you damn it! Anyway, I'm gonna get a Chaos Sphere. It's not really necessary, but I'm just gonna get it because, you know, I have the money for it. God. The Chaos Sphere is basically a bouncing ball that you launch. It's pretty useful against a lot of bosses, if I'm being entirely honest with you. Some bosses move a lot, and they can get hit multiple times by it, so it's really good. We're gonna leave the town, and on the next part, I'll always, I think I'll mostly end up the levels going back to the town to buy stuff, like end up the videos anyway. On the next part then, we'll be going to Pridemore Keep, Flower of the King Knight. I'll see you guys there. On the flip side, bye bye.